Man, what a show this was. The second semifinal. We saw a huge disagreement between the televoters and the juries, especially when it comes to certain songs. So let's talk about them. Let's talk Eurovision. What's up, you fools? Matt, ESC United, your favorite Eurovision channel. Welcome back to my little channel here. If you like everything or some of the stuff that I do, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Could always use your support. But let's focus on what's really important, Eurovision. Yes, as I pointed out, I'm talking about semi-final 2. The juries disagreed with the televoters and vice versa a lot in the grand finals, in semi-final 1, and of course in this semi-final as well. So I'm going to share with you the top 10 disagreements between televoters and jury based on the overall score. So I'm going to start with the 10th place, work my way up to the first place. So in 10th place, we have actually Romania. Esta Pioni did not qualify. This is the second year in a row for Romania actually to miss out, and it's unfortunate, of course, but that's how it works. You can't always qualify, right? Interestingly enough, I'm looking at the results, and if we only had juries, Romania would have qualified in 10th place. They received a total of 47 points, but the televoters were not impressed with on a Sunday, and let me take a look here. 24 points overall from the televoters, so the difference between these two groups is 23 points. That means Romania, the 10th biggest difference in this semifinal. Hopefully they'll return to the finals next year because I miss them dearly, but that's how it goes, right? Moving on, in 9th place with the difference is actually Latvia. Latvia did not qualify with the televoters or juries, and neither of them put them in their personal top 10. However, the juries definitely enjoyed this song from Carousel a lot better, or a little better, I should say. 13th place overall, 37 points from the juries. Televoters, once again, did not get this one at all. Barely any points. 13 points overall for Carousel. The difference here, 24 points. So Latvia, once again, missing out for final spot for third year in a row. So hopefully 2020 will be their year. But as you can see, they did get some jury support, but they need to be way higher than that to really leave an impact. Moving on, in 8th place, it's Moldova. Moldova, as we all know, the sand lady returned, but now she's the snow lady. Ana Odobescu thought that this may help to qualify, but it wasn't enough. Although she was onto something, because the juries actually put Moldova in 8th place. So that would have been enough to qualify, with a total of 58 points from the juries. But once again, this seems to be a pattern. The televoters were not too impressed, putting her in 13th place with 27 points. So that is a significant margin, most definitely enough to drag her down, enough to miss qualification. Total the point difference, 31. Keep in mind, the country in 7th place also has a points difference of 31, but they overall finished higher, therefore I put them also higher in the ranking. So the country that is in 7th place, also with 31 points difference between the televote and the jury vote, is Russia. Sergei Lazarev. Now, he did really well in the end. He finished in 3rd place, and that gap, I think, grew a little bit in the grand final. In the semifinal, however, it wasn't too bad considering the amount of points he received overall. The televoters were very much into Scream, receiving 124 points, which is the 4th place. With the juries, he was hoping maybe with this song that would be perceived as a little bit more jury friendliness, if you will, would leave an impact. Unfortunately, that didn't work quite out. I mean, again, still top 10 with the juries, 93 points overall, but it wasn't enough really to, in the grand final, leave an impact. In the semis, once again, 31 point difference, but it was enough at least to make it to the finals, and Sergei matches his previous score of 3rd place. Moving on, 6th place, as far as point difference are concerned, is Switzerland. Yes, Luca Hani, and I knew that the juries would give it less. It just seems less jury friendly, more televote friendly. There are certain things that come with it, the lyrics, the style, that doesn't always jive with the juries. Nevertheless, they put it in a pretty good spot, 6th place with 95 points, but with the televoters, it went big, finishing in 3rd place, 137 points. Do your math, the difference 42 points. So that is significant, even though it's only a couple of positions, still a significant margin in points. But there are 5 other countries where the gap is even bigger. Let's talk about them. In 5th place, Malta. Malta always seems to be a jury favorite. They tend to put them pretty high. This year, no difference. Chameleon finished in 4th place with the juries, 107 points. So definitely made it past the 100-point mark. The same thing did not happen with the Televoters, where she barely squeezed into the top 10 with 50 points. So a 57-point difference. Once again, it seems as Malta has a difficult time putting forward a song that really goes big with the Televoters. But overall, they didn't do too bad this year. Just, you can see once again, there is just a surprisingly big gap. In 4th place, Lithuania. So that's really high for a country that did not qualify, because Lithuania actually finished in 8th place with the Televoters, 77 points. Granted, they got a lot of support from its usual allies, United Kingdom, Ireland, Norway, Latvia. So lots of points head start there, but that wasn't enough. I mean, it would have been enough only with the Televote, but the juries definitely did not feel Lithuania, putting it in second to last with 16 points, and that is a huge gap. 61 points to be more specific, and clearly enough for Yuri to drop. Actually, not clearly, because he only missed the final round by 1 point. 1 point. So that's how close it was. So that 61-point gap definitely did it. Darn. Oh well, that's how it goes, right? But let's take a look at the top 3. So the country that received the 3rd biggest gap is Sweden, and they always seem to be up there when it comes to it, that the juries really love it. The Televoters like it, but not quite as much, and this year, no exception. Sweden finished in 2nd place with the juries, 150 points, 150. Huge number, and once again, popular with the Televoters as well, but to a significantly lower extent. 88 points from the Televoters, which is basically a 6th place. So do the math. Once again, 62-point difference. 3rd largest, biggest difference this year. So there are other countries that have a larger gap. Let's talk about them. But Sweden is always out there, it seems. The country that has the 2nd biggest difference, North Macedonia. And I think they're okay with it. They're just glad that they made it this far. Tamara finished in 1st place with the juries, 155 points, winning the jury vote. This is the first time this happened for North Macedonia, so a round of applause for that. She also is quite popular with the Televoters. Top 10, 7th place, 84 points. But as you can see, a huge gap there. 71 to be more specific. So even though there was a discrepancy, nevertheless, she was quite successful with both groups. Just the juries were like, whoa. While the Televoters were more like, yeah. Let's see if they can come up with something next year where both go like, whoa! But who's the number 1? I know you know who it is. Same for the grand final. It's Norway. Huge gap and disagreement between Televoters and juries. The Televoters loved Kaino. 170 points from the Televoters. That is a big score. That is a huge score for a semifinal, and clearly won that semi with the Televoters. But I knew that it just wouldn't score as well with the juries. And that's what happens. They wouldn't even have qualified if it would have been up to the juries only. 11th place with 40 points. It's easy math. 170 minus 40, 130 point difference. I mean, that is huge, my friends. That is huge. And they finished, got a good score in the end at Eurovision, but clearly, it seems this was the biggest disagreement of the year between the juries and the Televoters, Norway, and it is reflected in the semifinal 2 results. But there you have it. These are the top 10 disagreements between juries and Televoters in the 2nd semifinal. Make sure to check out those videos. I also did one for semifinal 1 and the grand final. I would love to hear from you. Where do you agree with the juries? Where do you agree with the Televoters? Leave your thoughts below in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. Talk to you later.